Hey guys, it's Steven from Steven's Classic Garage. So I wanted to give an update on the 1965 Mustang build. So what I did, like I told you guys on the last video, is we took off the trunk lid. Sorry about the buzzing. That's the lights up here, fluorescent lights. So we took off the trunk and we were doing a paint. I did a paint test. I did this here with my roommate Roger. He helped me out a little bit, but I sprayed everything, so he just helped me with an extra pair of hands. So basically what I wanted to talk about is what I decided to go with. So I originally wanted to do a test with find a paint color online on like a paintshop's website, so that it would give me the code. Originally I was going to go stock burgundy, but I thought stock 65 burgundy, that was original in 65. I wasn't too fond of how dark that was, so I wanted to go with something lighter, and also I wanted to go with a metallic. That particular burgundy was flat. And I don't want to go with my original paint scheme on the car, which I believe is a green metallic with like gold flake in it. With a gold metallic in it. I can't remember what it is, like a Wimble green or something, but it is stock for 65, and I have found various chips of that on the car. But I thought that since this is kind of my first full body paint job, that I would just go cheap on it. Originally for that I was looking at PPG Omni, and that was $600 including a place called Finish Masters. I don't know if that's a global I don't know if that's a national franchise, but we have that here in San Jose. They have their own Euro Clear, which is like $140. So the base coat itself, the color for an A code, it's called, which is like not super crazy metallic paint, it's just flat paint, was like $400 for PPG Omni. And PPG Omni is what I sprayed my dash with. I'm very impressed with it, and I use a TranStar Q-Wick Clear on my dash, and I was very impressed with both. But it's just basically pigment suspended, and the Q-Wick Clear had an activator as well. The base did not. So basically what I decided to do is, maybe some of you guys have seen it, I decided to go with dupli-color's paint shop. So I'm going to show you guys what I wanted to go with, like a burgundy color, and I didn't want to do a candy, and you guys might know that there's only one color that is close to that, and it's called molten red metallic. So that's what I sprayed this trunk with, and I also used a gloss clear coat. And for my base, I used the 5424 primer, the high build 3-in-1. So either a high build primer, standard primer, or sealer. So I used that on the dash, and on the whole car, on the exterior, including this trunk lid. And it turns out that that is actually a enamel and an epoxy, basically shavings. I don't know what exact, so I guess that's basically what it is. So you're not supposed to be able to shoot lacquer. Lacquer shouldn't stick on it shouldn't stick over enamel. It shouldn't be shot over enamel, but it seems like it's doing okay. It doesn't look like it's lifting. So what I probably should have done, I didn't think that I was going to be going with the dupli-color, but I'm actually very impressed with this color. So if you guys could see, there is metallic in there. I don't know how close I'll be able to get. And also I wanted to do, oh, here we go. I didn't bring my light from my phone, but I do have, oh, there you go. So there, on the outside of the light, you could see all the metallic. I really do want to put this panel out in the sun so you could see all the metallic. Might have to do that in another video. I'll probably do that when I am going to color sand this to practice. As you see, it is a bad panel. I am going to end up redoing it. I'm going to explain kind of what happened here. and also what I learned from shooting this panel and what I'm going to implement the second time I shoot this panel. So basically what happened is, as you can see, I got a lot of dirt and stuff inside of the paint, and that was because I'm in this environment here. And also you can see I have some random hairs here and there. My roommate that helped me has very long hair and has a full beard and mustache going on right now that he hasn't shaved in two plus months. So that probably wasn't the best idea, but I'm gonna see what I could do about getting a booth or rebuilding the booth I originally had to improve that. So that's the number one improvement. Number two improvement is I see that I can still see some scratches where it did not fill the 600 grit. So I sanded it with 600 grit, and then I sanded it also, well, I ran back over it with this gray Scotch-Brite pad from 3M, which should be around 600, I think. And then there's the burgundy one. The burgundy one is coarser. So the burgundy one's supposed to be like 400 equivalent, and so I used that one before primer. The idea was to use that one before paint, but it seems like they thinned it out quite a bit to where it just does not have the fill that it should have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to up that. I'm not going to use that guy anymore. Obviously, it's too coarse. I'm going to up that to about 800 grit and try that again. Number two is that it definitely doesn't sit as well over Bondo, and I have a little circle. Where is it? Don't tell me it disappeared. So when I bought the dupli-color, grease and wax remover, which this is $8, pretty good deal, and it's pretty full. Probably because of $8, probably a lot of water in there. But anyways. When I used that on this guy, I could actually see right through the sealer and see the Bondo patches right through the sealer. So I'm thinking the sealer was really thin. So what I probably should have done is go over that with the gray primer that a paint shop also has. So speaking of that, the next point is that I saw that it was quite difficult for the color to cover over that black, to change it from black to start going to this kind of burgundy, kind of reddish color. So what I would also suggest is using that gray. And you can see over here in the corners, it still is actually really dark in the corners. The next thing is that one of the good advice that I saw online for the very few videos on this guy is to do the cross. So spray cross left and up and down on your second coat. So first go sideways, and then if you can, do a cross. This way you get rid of any banding, any sort of striping. So where you overlapped or you missed an overlap. Oh, and I could sort of see that circle where that Bondo is. You can just see it in the light. There's a bigger circle and a smaller circle. I think I could, if it was still there, I could probably get over that. Even if I resprayed. Obviously, right now respray. It probably what it probably is it's probably just a high spot. It probably is because this is so thin. This is a repo panel, and obviously it's dry. I shot it last night. It's a repo panel, so it is pretty thin. So probably when I was sanding the Bondo, it was pushing the panel down, and it wasn't letting me cut into the Bondo, and it was just kind of pushing the panel out of the way. And then after the block went over it, the panel would pop back up. So I wasn't actually sanding the panel. I might have been a little too aggressive on pushing down. That's probably what happened. So after I color sand this guy, just to check out how it looks color sanding, because as you can see, quite a bit of orange peel. Right? Definitely not clean reflections. I mean, it's shiny, but definitely not clean reflections. And I'm seeing kind of like this pattern showing up. I'm wondering, and I don't remember seeing the pattern yesterday, so I'm wondering if it's actually sticking or not to that epoxy. It probably won't stick to the enamel in that primer, but it might stick to the epoxy. So I'm going to double check, because it doesn't say exactly like, hey, this is an enamel primer. It says that it's a epoxy enamel hybrid. So I'm gonna have to talk to maybe the supplier to see if they suggest shooting lacquer over it, because this is paint shop is indeed a lacquer. So this is probably gonna run over my 11 1/4 minutes, so I'll just break this up into 2 videos and we'll keep going because there's quite a bit to talk about. Okay, so that's so number 1 is to do the cross side to side. Number 2 is to shoot maybe the gray over it, even though now if I did that, this panel, it would probably look a little different, this panel between the rest of the panels, because I would be spraying the rest of the panels. I might respray this one after I sanded it. Number 2 is, it says an hour to cure in between color and clear. However, I do not recommend that. I recommend more, especially right now. I'm in winter time. Even inside, I don't have a heater. The only heat that I have is coming from the hot water tank there, and so basically it's really cold in here. So I think it was taking longer to set up. I gave it at least an hour 5, an hour 6, and what I was doing was I was wiping